everybody. Gaming 2. We got another action-filled race for the Mega Man 2 2022 Randomizer race. This is your boy LV Creed here, and along with me on comms. How you doing, Sinister Sama?
Hey, same stuff, different day, living life in paradise. So we're on the losing side of the house between CrebleStar and Charlieboy. Joining us on the table today as our tracker is Karita. So give this tracker a warm welcome. They are their first time coming. So Creed, what's the flag set that we're going to be dealing with on this first race?
Be pretty traditional. CrebleStar, who is our player 1, is going to be doing pretty much easy, 80% easy, which allows zips. I believe we're also doing, let's see, reveal stage names. Yep, reveal stage names, and the sprites are going to be random. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this goes, because these are pretty standard settings.
I say borderline baby's first tournament seeds is what we can call it.
I wouldn't go babies first, considering how the rando can deal our runners quite a bit of a bad drop, depending on how things go.
Well, just Randomizer is a terrible mistress, and the flags are about to be fired. They're getting ready to go out, and here they go. So with this being, you got it.
No, you go ahead.
With that being the case, we're gonna see a little bit of a divergence starting out, but still two common states starting out. Charlie going to Flash, Treble heading over to Quick.
Yep, these two are fairly short stages. They have very valuable E-tanks where they could probably gonna be using in case things get dicey amongst our runners. Right now, it seems like Charlieboy is dealing with some very annoying crabs. Looking at them, they look like they were Buster immune. Those are not the kind of enemies you're hoping to see with that kind of immunity.
Yeah, I hate to see it, especially if they're riddled all over air stages. That's gonna make traversing air a bit dicey. Not to mention, what we saw from CrebleStar, the quick lasers are actually blended into the background. So it might screw if they get a lapse in judgment. That might I don't know, might mess with CrebleStar for a life or two.
It may or may not. It depends on, because the thing is, the lasers, regardless if they're black or not, the fact of the matter is they are still at the same pace and they go at the same time. So if CrebleStar memorized the laser movements and timings, he should have no problems going through this and getting eventually to the Quick Man boss door. Meanwhile, Charlieboy's about to go to his Flash boss door, and we got actually Airman, whose sprite looks a little bit on the B-like side.
We got B-Man! Bad jokes are bad, but still, Charlie will be the first to strike, and he'll be receiving the grab hole, and no item there. Ooh.
Of course, Charlieboy's gonna wind up following CrebleStar's footsteps and gonna be dealing with Quick. Meanwhile, in Quickman's boss room, we got a very slow burner in Heatman, very slow moving, and of course, he's not soft Buster weak, so it makes for a very long fight. So the fight was pretty drawn out. Charlieboy might end up doing the same kind of fight, but he does have a weapon in storage. So if that weapon is any kind of weakness, that fight can go much faster, but we're gonna have to see once Charlieboy actually gets to that point.
CrebleStar actually taking a little bit of a divergence, not going to Flash right out, heading over to Metal, and woo! Using the feet pixels to be able to navigate against that gear gesture.
Boy, taking a bit of a beating in the straightaway and Quickman stage. Actually forced to use the E-tank to actually survive, and about to deal with our background lasers, which he should be able to go by fairly quickly enough. Like I said, if you know the patterns of the lasers, you should be fine. Just don't get over careless.
Oh, zealous is what you need to say, but we figured out that the mechs are actually paper mache, but the Kevlar is actually on the riders themselves, so this should be pretty interesting to see if they show up in Wily being a nuisance.
Overcareless, overzealous, same difference. Regardless of the matter. We got both our runners about to go to their boss doors. Charlieboy's about to face Heatman. I wouldn't be surprised if he sees if his soul weapon can deal damage. Meanwhile, we got CrebleStar just about losing Metal Man's boss room.
He is actually Buster susceptible. He's taking 4 from the Buster. Meanwhile, Treble actually's got a very tricky crash fighting on that treadmill.
At least he's not over aggressive, and CrebleStar was able to take him down pretty handily. Do we have an item in here? Nope. But right now we're technically 3 stages in between our 2 runners, and we do not have an item in sight. For a reminder for those that are new to the randomizer, at least for the sake of items, our 3 items are randomized within the 8 Robot Masters, so they have no idea until they actually beat a stage if they're gonna get an item or not. So at this point, we still have no idea what our items are gonna be.
Charlieboy going for our first sip of the run, and it's a relatively easy one. All you gotta do is just position in the right spot, and then zip as normal. So right now, though, 3 levels in, we don't have any of our items, and that's gonna be a bit of a thing because what they try not to see is an item 2 right now. An item 3 can give them a good zip and heat. An item 1, oh boy, that opens up some doors.
Not to completely ignore CrebleStar. CrebleStar actually got some pretty useful information. Another thing that's randomized within Mega Man 2 is actually the crash walls. And with the weapon that he has right now, which is actually our Metal Blades, we find that the Metal Blades are actually the weakness for the walls. That is going to be some pretty handy information, especially towards the Raleigh stages, especially for Boo Beam, because that will take a weakness, an available weakness out of the pool.
That is true. The wall weakness cannot be the beat weakness. So Charlieboy is, oh wow. So currently right now there is a 50% chance that, actually I take that back. There is gonna be a item on one of our whammy stages. For those who don't know the whammy stages are Heat and Crash. They are the longest levels in the game without any items. Charlieboy getting some really good information. Chickens are being heavy fried with that heat, that atomic fire.
Yeah, fortunately, he has found that weakness. This kind of enemy setup, even though it's just the soul chickens, these can be very nasty enemies to try to navigate above the open air sections in air. Fortunately, this weakness was able to one-shot and it's a very fast charge as well, so he's able to get them out and destroy them very quickly, managing to get to the halfway point of Airman stage in pretty quick order.
Tin Can's also weak to that charge too, so right now we're looking pretty good here. Oh, and guess what? Buster weaks cans. They must be made of tin instead of that high-quality iron.
CrebleStar is able to continue on through Bubble. Going to use the Metal Blades to make sure that he destroys those Squirm Makers, which are spitting flames at the moment. But yeah, our boys are still kind of even though Charlieboy is the first one to his boss room, where we get a very interesting looking Woodman who's summoning his inner leprechaun. Meanwhile, CrebleStar is fighting the Metal Man that we saw earlier that Charlieboy already faced. So our Woodman analog has been destroyed, and we are running out of options for some good options for items.
I hate to say it, but both of our whammy levels now have an item. So Woodman is gonna have to show up with either an item 1 or an item 3, because if it's an item 2, I might see Charlieboy making a trip to Crash.
Well, both our runners are about to go to Wood right now. Potential stream delays behind this. They're pretty much neck and neck with each other. Probably about a couple of seconds behind each other. So we're gonna see what happens. Because right now, they do not have any items to even try to go for good wood. They're gonna have to go completely at the top of the treehouse and see what kind of enemies lay in store up there.
You hate to see it. They gotta actually go to the top of the treehouse.
Pretty empty so far, but like I said, we hadn't exactly made to the top of the treehouse just yet. Charlieboy about to be the first one to see, well, at least on stream, to see what's at the top here.
Ooh, prop tops and Mets.
And it could be worse. There are definitely worse enemies that could be at the top of the treehouse. Also, to answer your question that's in chat, most of the time you do have to destroy them. They are completely solid when they form down. However, you can try to skip them with a well-timed time stopper. However, the time stopper does have randomized attributes, so you might be able to skip maybe from 1 to all 3 of them. It's just going to depend on how the time stopper works. Unfortunately, our boys do not have time stopper, or they aren't using them, so we won't be able to know if they're able to pass them cleanly or not. But it is possible.
Oh, Quickman's waiting inside the heart of the treehouse. Oh, Charlieboy narrowly escapes, and we will find out what item is locked behind wood. It's the one you don't want. Oh boy.
I'm gonna opt to go to Heat, have an item 2 that does ignore the Yoku blocks toward the very end, but you might be seeing Charlieboy ouch as he takes a quick little lava bath. But yeah, you might see either used for the final stretch of the Yoku blocks in Heat, or if the enemies are annoying enough, you might see it come out a little early so he can ignore all the potential annoying enemies, which could cause a lot of lag, make pitfalls more easily susceptible. It's just a few options that they could take with how they do use their item 2 in Heat.
A good play by Charlieboy, and Creble actually dies. So Charlieboy's making good use of a little bit of the item 2, but yeah, he's definitely going to be switched. He's going to keep trying to hold that for a while.
Alright, looks like no, he's doing the second thing I was expecting him to, but ooh, he was low enough so he don't get clobbered by the Jester bots while flying the item 2. But of course, now he doesn't have enough item 2 to make the full fly over the Yoku blocks. He's probably gonna, with that large weapon energy, he might do it partial way, but he knows the Yoku blocks enough that he really doesn't need to worry about it all that much. But he's gonna pop the item 2 in anyway to get by the rest of the area faster.
That works pretty well. So right now, Creble lost a little bit of time taking 2 deaths.
Charlieboy heading to our Heatman boss room. We got just a handful of bosses remaining. Let's see who we got in the boss room.
That's Bubble. And he's a fast boy, but not a hugger.
And he's also Buster Southweek, so Charlieboy was able to take him out in really short order. Meanwhile, we get item 3 here for our troubles. Unfortunately, it's not the item 1 that we probably would like to have, especially for metal and crash for zipping. And we saw that metal does not have item 1, so item 1 is actually locked in crash. So doing the crash zips, unless you know how to do the buster zips, you're going to be having a hard time trying to perform these zips and skipping quite a bit of crash's stage.
Uh-oh. Creble almost paid the price for that one. So, right now, Creble's gonna get the bad news. This is item 3, so he's not gonna be able to skip. He's not gonna be able to get the crash skip. And Charlieboy's gonna get the bad news that ain't it either. So, we're gonna be looking at a relatively contested race, probably going into Wily.
Well, the CrebleStar's favorite, he did find Item 2 before going to air. That was something that, oh! Before we talk about that, CrebleStar found a crazy weakness for Bubble. For those that aren't aware, there are some super weaknesses that are for 2 Robot Masters with particular weapons. One of them happened to be Metal for Crash. Metal for Bubble, I mean. Treble's going to crash. But yeah, that's going to be some useful information, some potential time save that's probably going to be paramount as both our boys are very close to each other.
Yeah, but right now, Creble still got a relatively longer stage in air. Meanwhile, Charlieboy is just about done with Metal. Yeah, he had to pop that one. He's about to get smacked.
Well, as I was about to allude to before seeing CrebleStar's weakness discovery, he does have Item 2 for Airman stage. Charlieboy did not have Item 2 for Air, and that gave him a pretty long walk. So having Item 2, especially if he decides to use it for the first half of Air to ignore the chickens, that could be some potentially useful time save to CrebleStar's benefit.
But at the same time, though, this is going to be really tight because right now, CrebleStar is just starting the second half of the ascent. Meanwhile, Charlieboy is already on crack. Wait a minute! Charlieboy getting cheeky!
Yeah, Charlieboy's gonna try to perform that Buster Only Zip that I mentioned before. So with a couple of good pauses, there we go. But he pauses to slow down his descent. Well timed. If he take that damage and miss that pause, he probably would have a very hard time trying to get up and try to recover and complete this crash skip, which ignores all 3 of the moving platform sections.
Alright, Charlieboy trying to buffer with the heat, and there he goes. That advantage that Creble was gonna have, that Creble thought he had, yeah, gone. Absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, with Charlieboy's extra knowledge of zips compared to CrebleStar, not to mention the deaths that CrebleStar has already accrued, Charlieboy right now has a pretty definite advantage, but we still got a full set of Wily stages to go, and these stages can be particularly brutal depending on the enemy set that we're going to be seeing for the rest of the game.
Yeah, Wily has been notorious for being called the maker or breaker of runs.
Charlieboy often takes the the left side in order to climb up. Probably wants to make sure he gets the heat tank because he's been piling through those juice boxes throughout the entire run. So he wants to make sure to get that safety.
He's been hitting on the caffeine quite hard.
It looked like about to pop yet another. Ooh, I thought he was about to pop in another one. Well, he still might actually pop in another one. Yep, there he goes. He's not sure what the final boss is gonna be. Definitely would like to take that safety, but not. I was about to say it's Flash, but yeah, if he didn't take it and was overconfident, that one hit would have killed him.
So about maybe a half level ahead, Charlieboy has defeated his 8 Robot Masters. He gets his Item 1. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're about to check out the Wily today. Today's Dr. Wily is the best eyebrows in all the land. He is vanilla, so he's at his castle. But we have a couple games to play. First and foremost, we have a dragon. We have colors. We have a type of dragon, and we have a weakness. So in chat, put your guesses in. Create, since you are the host, would you like to take first stabs?
Yes, and for those that aren't familiar about the dragon in terms of sprites, the dragon most recently has had a few sprite changes. He comes in 4 different varieties, of course one of them being vanilla, but the other 3 are one with a unicorn horn on his head, which we like to call our dragon corn. We got one with some particular nice shades, you don't really see it, and probably one of the most unique ones is probably a crowd favorite, the legendary Oats Dragon. So, getting up to our guesses, as usual, I always like to be a true blue boy, blue being my favorite color, so we're gonna have ourselves a blue dragon. It's gonna be Buster Week. And for the weakness, let's be kind and say it's gonna be metal.
We're gonna go with Swag Dragon, the one with the shades. We're gonna go with the monochrome, and I want them to suffer. I want a Crash weakness today. And ooh, that item 1 is not going anywhere. That is still as paper or a rock. So last chance and guesses. We got some pretty unique guesses. We have the legendary Quaker Oats Dragon already being called out, as well as a couple for the Dragon Corn.
We're about to find out in a moment, and honestly, it depending on the explosion duration of Crash, it might actually be a pretty decent weakness. But first things first, we got ourselves a Dragon Corn, pretty much a traditional green Dragon Corn, maybe with some lavender outlines, but that is pretty green, and that is not a Crash weakness, nor is it a metal weakness.
Oh, it's on Windows! It's weak to the Buster!
Just let everyone know, within the Wily stages, the weakness for Buster is basically 50-50 for most of them. But so yeah, it's the chance they may be susceptible, but they can also be immune. So it's sometimes just better to just go ahead and test your Buster regardless, just to hope that you get a free fight and not have to worry about any kind of ammo management shenanigans later on in the Wily stages.
Rebel only being about a dragon behind, he's doing pretty good for himself right now, while Charlieboy is gonna get ready to go into the treasury of Wily. So, we also got some news. We also got a brand new feel for the Pico blocks. Pico comes in 3 flavors: vanilla, Twitch, and Inviso. So yeah, you might get to see one of them tonight.
Yeah, if it's gonna be the invisible ones, that's probably gonna be the toughest version of the Pico units. You can very, very easily get lost in the patterns of the Pico units, but if you able to catch wind of them and know how they move, it shouldn't be as bad, but it can very easily get off rails.
Well, we're about to check out what kind of Pico that Wily decided to order from Home Shopping Network. Oh, we got Twitch Pico! Also, weak to Windows. So, Kame it would be literally a happy camper today.
Shout out to Kame Sen, who is our resident Buster only warrior and one of our randomizer veterans. But yeah, he'll probably be spinning in his chair right now, seeing what's going on right now.
I would definitely see him like celebrating, the pit fist pumping after taking down this rather easy Twitch Pico. So here we go, stage 3. Still, CrebleStar still about a half level behind, and we're about to figure out if Wily cleaned his pipes.
Got us some Final Fantasy V music for our Wily stages this time, and not quite as clean as you probably would want it to be. Clearly.
No thank you. That is definitely not clean. The pipes are not clean here. I repeat. So, Charlieboy going through the rather dirty water.
Yeah. Fortunately, it was a very safe Wily 3. There are some enemies in this stage that can make this stage, which normally be relatively easy aside from the spike drop, and make this much more hazardous. Fortunately, that was not the case for our enemy set, as Charlieboy is about to go to our Guts Tank fight.
And for all intents and purposes, Wily 3 is the shortest level in the game. So, for all intents and purposes, Charlieboy still got a half level lead, and ooh, the Dozer got a little bit of Kevlar.
And Charlieboy is doing the weakness hunt, going through majority of the first page, not finding anything, but finds a pretty good weakness in Metal. Metal being very spammable, very low weapon consumption, pretty good weakness to find for a boss like the Guts Tank. As he goes into probably the overall most dangerous stage in Mega Man 2, Vanilla, and in Rando. We got ourselves Wally 4.
Referred to by many as the Great Equalizer. Runs have been dictated by this place alone.
Indeed it has. Unfortunately, looks like the Item 2 kind of dictated CrebleStar's movement as the Item 2, which would have been an interesting time save, traveling quick as he was traveling right into the spikes and wound up having to do that stage all over again, pretty much increasing Charlieboy's lead.
Charlieboy right now has about a minute ahead of schedule. So right now, Charlieboy is going to have a pretty bad anxiety room and a bad booming to be a problem, but that's just not happening.
CrebleStar is able to complete. Wally 3 just got one small corridor and a very easy, well, a generally easy guts tank. Meanwhile, look like our anxiety rooms look like they're probably going to be rest homes.
Yeah, they're going to be empty. The residents do not want to come out to play.
Is it still empty? No, it's not empty. There is a Pyro by, but it's on the correct side. If it was on the side that Charlieboy was on, yeah, he would have instantly gotten hit and fell down to the spikes below, and probably would have to resort to use Item 1 in order to recover.
Oh, Charlieboy screwed that zip up, so he's gonna have to deal with. Wow, 2 extra lives.
Yes, he's dealing with 2 extra lives. Way to go, Charlieboy. but seriously, okay, looks like Charlieboy's gonna set up the charge. He's gonna test walls. He does not know what CrebleStar knows about the walls, that they're gonna be Metal Blade weak, but yep, to know, you're pretty much almost always going to use your God weaknesses first, so that hopefully you don't have to worry about destroying the wall. In this case, it would be either Leaf Shield, Metal Blades, sometimes Air. Fortunately, he chose to test out Metal first, and was able to get the wall weakness very quickly. And regardless of the matter, it would have been a God weakness, period. Leaf Shield decimate these moving turrets in one shot. He didn't even need to destroy the walls. But better safe than sorry.
And CrebleStar still has to go through the rather quiet anxiety rooms. Meanwhile, Charlieboy is ready. So, here we go. Also, new to the randomizer as of version 5, you get stages where you get to hear the whole song. And as of version 6, the whole song continues even after the Robot Master is done. So you get to get the funky tunes while kicking some serious robot tail.
The feature has been around for a little bit. It's not really up to version 6 that this has been here. Definitely by at least version 5. But what is new about this in version 6 is that you do have some weapon ammo that you can get if you so choose. So if you're low on ammo in the boss rush, you can take some time to get some ammo, but in a race, that is a potential time waste. So once again, even up to this point, ammo management is very important, so you don't have to be in a position to try to resort to getting them and rely on them to complete the game.
Also, and thanks to you guys getting some new features with the energy, Wily has decided to upgrade his OS system, so it's going to be a little harder to see if that Buster weakness is there on the machine.
Yes, indeed. Compared to the older versions where Buster seems to be the weakness a large majority of the time, the Buster chances for weakness for the Wily machine has been severely reduced. The possibility is still there, but odds are we're probably going to be doing some weakness hunting, but that's still on a seed per seed basis. We could still see a Buster weak machine, and if it is, it'll be a very easy time, especially for Charlieboy, who's pretty much got a stranglehold on this lead as CrebleStar is starting his assault on the boss rush.
Creble right now is on boss 2. Charlieboy is finishing up with his final boss. Ooh! B Air is definitely trying to make Charlieboy's life a little bit less comfortable. Alright, everybody. Let's see if Wiley is on Windows today. Nope, he is on Linux, so we need to find out what's that weakness.
And Bubble's a pretty good weakness. Looks like he's pretty good weapon ammo consumption. Very spammable. Pretty solid, but nope. One thing about the weaknesses is that one weakness do shift. As you saw, the Bubbles were weak for the first phase, but they weren't weak to the second phase. Between the two phases, there are some weakness changes.
Yeah, and the weakness changes can be a thing, but there is one universal weakness for both phases. If you get lucky to find it, you're in business. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. But Charlieboy's at Victory Road right now.
Yep, everything is pretty much coming up all Charlieboy. All you gotta do is just gotta go through the rest of this straight away to Victory Road and see what kind of quote alien end quote you're gonna have to deal with and defeat.
Indeed. Looks like a typical alien.
Not quite.
I stand corrected, we got fish!
Shoutouts to Mega Man 4, which is where that sprite actually comes from. But yeah, and pretty easy weakness, finding it very quickly. The Metal Blade's doing the dirty deed, destroying our fish alien, and GG's to Charlieboy, finishing in first place with official race time.gg time of 30 minutes and 9 seconds. A very brisk seed on Charlieboy's end.
Very fast for a seed.
CrebleStar taking care of the Wallet Machine, and now is about to go to his romp through Victory Road, where our fish alien awaits. Just gotta see how soon he finds metal.
Yeah, all points considering right now. CrebleStar right now, break point for Charlieboy. So all he has to do is hold serve, and he's good. And looks like CrebleStar's gonna have to look, and he's gonna go. Oh, he's going through the entire first page.
He does eventually find those metal blades, and with a few more pop shots, CrebleStar has finished his seed, and he finishes with official racetime.gg time of 31 minutes and 35 seconds. A losing time, but it's still a very solid time on CrebleStar's end. Just one too many screw-ups on his side that cost him the race.
Indeed. And with that being the case right now, CrebleStar is going to be behind the 8-ball, as Charlieboy is going to be able to pick his seeds for the round 2, for race 2. So we'll be back momentarily, folks. Stay tuned, because guess what? We'll be back, and Charlieboy will be letting us know what he's going to be rolling. So hold tight. Get yourself a drink.
Alright, everybody, we are back, and we do have our boys set up. Right now, we got Charlieboy leading 1-0, and this, just to let you know, this is an elimination match. These two are on the lower bracket, so unfortunately, one of our boys will be going home, while the one's going to be moving on to the next round. So, Sinister, what are you going to be expecting to see our runners go through after seeing our runners go their first round?
Well, seeing that the flags are pretty much the same, except we're now actually going to be going on the hidden side of the house, I have the feeling that CrebleStar is probably going to want to fish for a favorable stage, same with Charlieboy. Now, again, items are still on the table, zips are still there. So, even more so than ever before, they need to make sure they do not hit a whammy stage. No crash, no air, no heat.
Well, since the usual meta is that you probably would normally like to dig for stages, to scout for stages early, finding a whammy stage early can actually be beneficial so they know where they're at, so you don't have to come back to them later on. However, that usually also incurs a reset, so they may lose time continuously finding whammy after whammy, so the time can add up. But when they decide to commit to that stage, they're gonna have to commit throughout, and they're gonna have to continue the game as see fit. So, search on your heart's content, because once you get going, there's gonna be no turning back, as our boys are about to